Lost Art with Andrew Cox, retired Master Gunnery Sergeant. thelostart.podbean.com. Get some merchandise and help support the podcast in getting our veteran voices out for all to hear. Now on all major podcast platforms. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be a guest, tell your veteran story, discuss your veteran business or organization. Email The Lost Art with Andrew Cox at gmail.com. Andrew Cox, a Till Valhalla Project Ambassador. See the project story at tillvalhallaproject.com. Thanks for tuning in. Please enjoy the podcast that's giving a voice to our veterans. The Lost Art with Andrew Cox.
Today's episode is brought to you by TrumpShirt.com. TrumpShirt.com is a veteran-owned business where 100% of the proceeds goes to disabled veterans and veteran organizations. Support your veterans by purchasing a shirt at TrumpShirt.com. Use the promo code TLA and get free shipping. That's TrumpShirt.com, promo code TLA.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Podcast, a podcast giving a voice to our veterans. Today, we're having a fireside chat with the crew and special guest Brian Henry, who's going to talk to us about the Nice Guys organization. If you're out there and you're liking what you hear, be sure to go to our website. That's thelostart.podbean.com. Go check us out, see what we got going on there. There's a merchandise tab. Click on that merchandise tab. Go get you some cool gear. Help support us in getting our veteran voices out for all to hear. Also, I want to give a shout out to the Till Valhalla Project and allowing me to be an ambassador for them. That's tillvalhallaproject.com. I encourage you to go check it out, see what all the great things that they got going on. They're doing some fantastic things. All right, I got the crew here. We're going to go ahead and go round robin. We're going to start with Vic. Vic, how you doing?
Life is good. I spent the whole weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, and then came back Sunday afternoon from a school law conference in Charleston. So it was interesting. It was so much law, just so much line. It was great. Lots of jargon and things that I didn't understand, and there was a little bit of assumed knowledge, definitions and acronyms that I spent. It felt like I wasn't paying attention because I was. Every third word or phrase I was trying to look up. What does this mean? What does that mean? What is that? It's, and I'm like, where are we at? Oh, I can't even follow it now. So I'm asking somebody, what about this? And they're like, oh yeah, he just talked. Oh crap, I missed it. It was one of those weekends. I mean, it was just a lot of information. I'm sure I didn't retain more than maybe 50% if I'm lucky, but I think it's one of those things like, as something applies to you, you reach out and you grab it, you understand that thing, and that's where I'm at right now when it comes to school law. But it was everything: teacher retention, superintendent contracts, and blah blah blah.
Was this part of the school board, or was this part of your teaching?
Yeah, school board, part of the school board stuff.
Right.
Of course, everything happened. All the real work happens after hours. So all the networking is awesome because being a conservative member on a liberal board, the majority of the board is liberal. It's tough that every week, you're outnumbered. So it's nice to meet people across the state that have, the same views as you and not feel like you got a third arm growing out of your head or something, but it was a good weekend. Yeah. It's raining here and I forgot to plug all my peripherals in. So the reason I'm not outside smoking a cigar right now is because I only got like 30% battery on my iPad, which is what I'm using to record. So yeah, so sorry about that. I know everybody just was waiting for that cigar review, but I got nothing.
So we don't get any good reviews this week, man.
Not this week.
All right, I guess we can let you slide on one of them.
Thank you, I appreciate
it. No problem. All right, Mark, how are you doing?
I'm doing outstanding. I'm in the great state of Iowa. Came back for one of my brother's daughter's weddings. So got here Friday, and just great weather. It's unbelievably cool for August in Iowa. Probably only like upper 70s, maybe. Low humidity. It's
wow,
beautiful. It's beautiful weather right now.
That's almost as good as the California weather, I think.
I tell you. And the food is just phenomenal. I mean, you can't beat the beefsteak back here. It's just unbelievable.
And less communism.
And they're not the commies out here. I don't think I'm gonna get cut off here. So just as a to let Brian in on it, whenever we're on this podcast and we start talking about California and control and the taxes, my Wi-Fi will go out. It'll get cut off. And then even last on Thursday when we were talking, someone started talking about the Clintons and my Wi-Fi went out. It was like
every time, never fails.
Eyes are out there.
Yeah, Big Brother's watching me.
Yeah,
but they don't seem to be here. It's still pretty free and fair here.
Did you have
Very
the four
nice.
S's on the bottom of your plane ticket?
Yeah.
Have to go through security.
Very nice. All right. Hey, Aaron, how are you doing?
Doing good. I'll admit, today was probably the first day that I can think of ever that I almost passed out from heat exhaustion.
Wow.
It's obviously hot and humid here in Florida, but I was putting a new alternator on my wife's vehicle.
Mhm.
It was too cheap to go get her a new one, even though she wants a new one. So I was like, just put a new alternator on it. Don't out in the driveway. For us
Wow.
folks, we're not as fit as we used to be, and we're not as tolerant to the heat and humidity. But other than that, all is well. Not much rain since the storms came through last week, but yeah, everything's good, and it's not a communist state, so.
Yeah.
Of people being watched, I may bring it up later, but you're on the same list as Tulsi Gabbard there, Mark.
I must be, but I didn't have problems in the flight, so.
Oh man, that's good. All right, Krista, how's life?
We're good. I'm sorry, Aaron. Yeah, there was a heat index today, and it was already like 97 degrees at 9 o'clock. So it was humid today. We had our first official non-supervised weekend with our granddaughter sleepover this weekend. And I did not realize that two people and a 6-year-old could trash every single room and the pool and the garage and the camper in less than 24 hours. And we still have the awning. It's attached.
Well, that's a miracle. Shots are fired right away.
Someone better give Brian a heads up about the awning.
Yeah. Brian, from experience, make sure you bring the awning in before you try to go somewhere on your RV. I found out the hard way.
She did tell her parents that she didn't get much sleep because I know I woke up about 6 times last night, checking on her and rolling over. I slept in the same bed as her in our bed. But at one point I woke up and she was going and rolled over and slammed her fist against the pillow because I snore too loud. So that's all I know. I did wake her up a few times. She'll just have to, I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, I'll get some nose strips or breathe right. I don't know. So I've had my face and my face punched too many times over the years. So, but it was a good weekend. I'm very thankful and blessed, and all is well. And you cannot explain cremation of a cat to a 6-year-old who doesn't understand the cat's in a box this big. Yeah, that didn't go over. Don't try. Ashes, kitty heaven, rainbow. It wasn't working. So don't even try. Yeah, we failed miserably.
Yeah, I think you tried to go too far too quick, I think. Yeah.
Didn't work. Yeah, she didn't comprehend any of that, and we failed. And I think we might have got scolded by the parents. So yeah.
Nah, what are grandparents for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
all right. Well. Yeah, we got Brian here. Brian was just recently on the podcast for My Veteran Story. So hopefully you all caught that. If not, I encourage you, go back, check it out. It was a good story. But Brian's here on behalf of the Nice Guys organization. So before we move on, Brian, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I am out here in, hopefully my Wi-Fi is good, but I'm not on any watch list yet, but I am in California. The weather's beautiful all the time. I did play golf yesterday with Mark knows him. Captain Kramer was one of the company commanders. I think he retired as a lieutenant colonel or a major, but out from 3-1. So he was in town and we played golf yesterday. So that was good.
Great.
Yep.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, hey, Brian, kind of talk us through a little bit of one, how you kind of got involved in the Nice Guys organization, and then what the Nice Guys actually is.
So getting involved, I mean, I remember when I got out of the Marine Corps, settled here in San Diego. I was involved with my kids. Once my son started playing baseball, I coached every team he was on, Little League, All-Stars, travel ball, Boy Scouts, all that stuff. And but at some point, after his 13-year-old year, I was like, all right, I'm done. You need to go play for someone else before you get to high school. So so at that time, Mark and I had stayed in touch over the years. Mark, if anyone doesn't know, Mark was one of my first squad leaders when I was a brand new second lieutenant in Lima 3-1. So Corporal O'Laughlin, who then got meritorious sergeant on that float. But Corporal O'Laughlin was one of my first squad leaders. But we've stayed in touch over the years, and he invited me to the Nice Guys. Come check it out. I think we were talking. I was telling him how I was done coaching, and it was the right time to get involved. And that time that I spent in baseball with my son, and kind of put it towards something else. A charitable organization.
Right.
Yep.
Very nice. And so he drug you in, just like whenever he probably drug you to Tijuana at some point. I'm sure there's some good stories between the two of you about things like that. But
yep.
So tell us a little bit, what is the Nice Guys exactly, and what do you guys do?
Well, it's the San Diego Nice Guys. It's a charitable organization. Our motto is a hand up, not a handout. We help San Diegans in need. And typically, I mean, really what we look for is San Diegans who, of no fault of their own, have fallen upon hard times. We do look for a couple things in order for that to align with what we do. But someone who's been self-sufficient in the past, they haven't been looking for a hand out over and over and over again. So they've been self-sufficient. Something knocked them off course. They've got a problem. And they've got a path to being self-sufficient again. And if we can come in and solve this problem, whatever it may be, car repairs, back rent, whether it's financial or services, to get them back on their feet and back off and running without the stress, with that stress put aside. So, I mean, that's the organization. That's really what we're all about, serving that mission. It's San Diego's in need. So basically, they have to be someone in San Diego County.
Right. Okay.
Yep. And then we have a military tie to it. I mean, I know prior to me joining, back during years ago, there was a Victory Fund was stood up to specifically help active duty military, they had a lot of activity during the war. When the wars were active, we still have that. It's just a very small. We don't see a lot of cases coming into us from the active duty, but we are available if there's military people in San Diego that are running upon hard times. We vet every case, so people get referred to us and come to us for help. We assign it to one of our members to vet the case and really look into the whole thing. Look into their financial situation, what the problem is, how they got the problem, and then what is needed to fix it, and do they have a clear path forward? And if all those things line up, we're able to step in and help.
Very nice. And I know the military one, that part of it helped one of my Marines when I was at Camp Pendleton. They needed a washer dryer, and I actually called Mark because I knew him. And he said, hold on, let me figure some things out. And they were able to get him a brand new washer and dryer. And they were floored. They couldn't believe it. So excited and thankful for that. So I got to see firsthand some of the stuff that you do.
Yep.
Now,
we're an all volunteer organization. We have we have about 162 people in our organization right now. We have 30 board members. Right now, 80 general members. We're capped at 100 general members, but so we have 20 open slots.
Wow.
And then past presidents no longer, so once you're a past president, you don't count against that count. And then out of town members. So all combined, it's about 110 in the board in general, and then another 52 that are either past presidents or out of town members, people who were members and moved away.
Right.
Yep.
Wow. Now, and you guys do fundraising of some nature. I know you do different things. What are some of those things that you guys do?
Yeah, so it's we like to say we put the fun in fundraising, or some people claim it's a charity with a drinking problem, but we really, one of the nice things is that we only raise money twice a year. We do a auction in April, which Mark is in charge of this coming year. I ran this last one, and now Mark's the guy on the dot to run the auction next year. And then the gala, we do a Nice Guy of the Year gala where we recognize a prominent San Diegan for their charitable giving. I mean, there's some big names in there. The owner of the Padres, Peter Seidler, who passed away this past year, the Nice Guy of the Year. Just a lot of big names in San Diego. We recognize him as the Nice Guy of the Year. And that's our second fundraiser. But other than that, we're not out there asking for money, throughout the year, which is nice. So it's two big events. We try to earn the money there that helps fuel our charitable giving for individual cases. And then we also do a Christmas party, community Christmas party, where we host 800 invited families, about 3,000 people in December. And just throwing all this big party where the families come out. Again, it's invite only through our referred by agencies that we work with. People in need, and just show them a great fun day, food, and they walk away with a gift card to Walmart, and then food, bag of food for Christmas dinner.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
But
that's really good.
Fundraisers, and the rest of it is fun for us.
Yeah. And I know you guys get involved in the parades and things like that as well. Haven't you guys done that before?
We've been. I know they've had representation in some of the different parades. The one other piece I was going to mention is we're big supporters of the Marine Family Christmas Fund. So every year we raise money along with other, like a lot of businesses and some other fundraising that goes on, and they raise money to give to the E5 and below First Mar Div at Christmas. It was a $100 gift card. It was a $200 gift card this past year with inflation and everything else. So there's a decent military tie in the Nice Guys. We love, obviously San Diego being a big military community. We love helping the active duty and veteran community.
Yeah, I remember I was working over at the White House there when the division was over there, and somebody said, "Hey, can you go walk these guys around?" I didn't even know what they were talking about, and then who comes walking up but Mark. Hey, I was like, "Oh, hey, what are you doing?" And they were bringing the gift cards. It's right around Christmas, and then of course he let me leave with a little Jameson, if I'm not mistaken. That's what it was. So he's always looking out for me, But yeah, if anybody wants to reach out and kind of help you guys and anything like that, what's the route that they would do that?
So I guess we have a website. SD. Actually, I should know it off the top of my head, but let me pull it up here. Okay. It is sdniceguys.com. So if you go there, you can see our website. That's where we'll post our upcoming events. So we look for people to come to one of the events. Particularly the auction's a fun event. Obviously, you can bid on. We generate a bunch of great items, and our membership is part of the expectation for our members is they have to buy 2 tickets to every event. So 2 tickets to the auction, 2 tickets to the gala. But for the auction, we also ask them to donate 2 items valued at at least $200, whether they go solicit them from businesses or just buy something and donate it, plus 2 bottles of wine. So amongst our members, we start off with 150 people potentially coming in with 2 items and 2 bottles of wine. We package the wine into cases, all that gets auctioned off. So everything, we start off with a pretty good buildup of what we contribute as auction items.
Right.
And then we go out and people donate all kinds of things. A lot of businesses, a lot of other people will donate things like, rounds of golf and hotel stays and vacations and stuff like that.
And that's mainly donors and stuff from the San Diego area.
Yes, typically, yeah, because we just have the one organization. It's just San Diego.
Right.
It was founded by, just the backstory. It was the organization came about by a group of friends, businessmen, business owners, and they were in part of a national organization. I think it was Leukemia Society. And they were trying to help a family with some experimental treatment. The national organization kind of came down on them and didn't approve of them doing that because it was experimental. And that kind of spurred them. They reached into their pocket and helped anyway. And then they started their own organization, the Nice Guys. So that's where it was born out of that ability to have a local community charity where they really you have control. You're not giving it up to a national. We have no overhead at all volunteer. We pay for our own expenses. We underwrite internally a lot of things so that every dollar we raise can go back to the community.
Right. Man, What a fantastic organization.
Yeah, that part's great.
Yeah. I'm digging it. Let's see. Anything else about Nice Guys between Brian and Mark? I know you're over there too. But if you want to talk about anything else with the Nice Guys.
Well, and Mark is, I know he's
well, just so we know, Brian is the second vice president of the Nice Guys, and so he'll be the president here. And he's just done a phenomenal job with us, and he's really brought the Nice Guys into the 21st century with the Zoom meetings and organization as far as knowing who's funding what and it's just trying to bring the technology to bear. So I think he's done a phenomenal job.
Very nice.
Yeah,
if he's speaking highly of you, Brian, it's good.
I'm going to be I'm the first VP. I'll be the president next year. But in the Nice Guys, it's a 3-year tour. Once you volunteer to go ahead and be the second VP, which Mark, we pressured Mark into stepping in and doing it right after me. But so the first year you're the second VP. You have to chair the gala and co-chair the auction. The following year you chair the auction, and then the third year you're the president. So I've done all the hard work so far. Now I just get to ride easy until January, and then I'm the president for a year.
Very nice. And then you have to make Mark do it all.
Help Mark with his he's got 2.
So now you just got to worry about me screwing it
up. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Well, hey, Brian, thanks for coming on and talking to us about the Nice Guys. Like I said, I've benefited, my Marines have benefited from the Nice Guys as well. And then, of course, the 1st Marine Division definitely benefits from it, which is incredible. But we do on the podcast, we go and do different things. You're more welcome to stick around to the end and chime in on everything. Okay. Please do. But we're going to go to military.
AJ.
Nope.
AJ got a question for him.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I heard Brian speaking about their membership and that membership was capped and some other things. How does your membership work? Explain that a little bit.
Yeah. So, yeah, our charter says 30 board members, 100 general members. And then we can have as many out-of-town members and as many past presidents as we want. But I don't know the full intent of that, but it was keeping it to be a small manageable organization. So it's 130 active members plus past presidents and out-of-town members. So when someone wants to join, usually it's because they know somebody. Like Mark brought me in. we do, so if there's someone in San Diego, like if there's a veteran in San Diego and they're looking to get involved in something, they could reach out to any of us, or our website. They can go to membership at sdniceguys.com and email them, or just get in touch with one of us. We'll talk them through what the requirements are for membership. There's some financial. I mean, so some people come in that there's some people in our organization that have deep wallets, and then you got the other ones that are the workers. We all commit to buying 2 tickets to the auction, 2 tickets to the gala, paying our membership fees, which are like $170 a year for a general member. And then we have meetings. We have a general membership meeting every month. So that's like 11 meetings if you go to them all. So there is an outlay. I mean, I think people can expect to spend probably in the, what is it, Mark? Is it getting like $1,500 to $2,000 probably a year?
We're about 1,400 right now, I think.
Yeah, to meet the requirements. But then, you don't have to be the deep pocketed person to get involved, because we need people to help.
Commitment. What the commitment is to the organization, what they're wanting to do for the community, that's their way of paying back if they're wanting to do that for the community. That's what I was trying to figure out when you said there's a. Yeah. Okay, good. That's what I wanted to know.
And our members, I mean, we try to urge our new members to get involved in charity. And the charity is a 101. We get the cases, they come in through our charity committee, but then they get handed out to individual members of our group that then take that case and go contact that person and really vet it to figure out whether we're going to be able to go forward or not. And if they get all the way through the vetting and feel, yes, this is something I feel strongly we should do, they'll brief it to the charity committee and get approval for whatever it is they're asking for. Okay. So you really do get involved with the people that you're helping and see and know how you're helping directly. Yep.
Okay. It sounds really interesting, because I work with the Marine Corps Musicians Association, and we don't really do anything. And I want to get our members more involved in the community. And I was trying to see how your organization works to see if that's something that we can learn from, take from, and, use some of those tools or the things that you do to see if we can implement them in our organization to change one of the biggest things that any organization can do is change. Change is what makes an organization flourish. So I was just kind of wanting to know what you do. All right. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
So I guess also, Chris, if I guess you go to like your church, your churches, and find out, do you have, get with the pastors, minister, if they have people coming in that are requiring help, and then someone just take a look at it and, just lay it all, you get with them. They got to be honest with you. You lay out their income, you lay out all their bills, all what's causing them to be in a financial strife. And you figure out if you can do something to help get them over that hump and get them back on track. But if you're going to, like we say, we're not going to just give them some money and then a month later, 2 months later, they're going to be back in the same predicament. I mean, we're not going to throw away money like that. So it's got to be a good cause where we can make a difference. We can help them. So
I like
finding the good causes is difficult, and you have to say no to some people. That they're your grant will not help them out of a bad situation. And it's tough saying no sometimes.
Yeah, people don't like to hear that either. That's
right.
It's a tough thing, especially if you're needing something, right? Somebody tells you no, or you're maybe not needing it, but you've got yourself in a position and you can't get yourself out necessarily. So
if you just are enabling a situation to make it worse or things like that, right?
Correct. We're not going to enable anybody with it.
Mm-hmm.
Vic, you look like you had a question or a comment.
Yeah, if I understood correctly, you guys are close to your membership maximum. Are there any plans to expand into other cities? Like maybe into the East Coast, what you guys do on the West Coast, do on the East Coast kind of thing, replicate it somewhere else?
There was not, I don't think there was that plan. I mean, certainly someone could take and kind of build their own separate organization, but yeah, I think the plan was to keep it to keep it simple, keep the fun in fundraising, because many people are still working. We do have I think we have the same problem that I think a lot of organizations have of an aging population. So we got to make sure we're bringing in young people, new people. I don't think the plan to expand at all. In fact, it's kind of like, we don't have a full-time staff that's out there can handle every single case that comes in, right? So I think we're in a sweet spot where we get enough cases coming in on a monthly basis that we can handle, and we're able to financially, we probably put back into the community somewhere around $400,000 a year. I think into the San Diego community is what we're raising and putting back out in help on an individual basis. So it's unique, and I think other places could stand up at something similar, but I don't think we would try to start something and franchise it out like as a national organization.
And we don't definitely have a patent over what we do. And we have had, because the whole thing started, like Brian explained, like 11 individuals, businessmen, friends, everything that work together through business and through the charity organizations that they were already involved in. And they get, after they started officially, they grabbed, 4, 5, 6 friends each. And it just started growing and growing, and it got bigger. But we have had members that leave the San Diego area, move to somewhere else, and they try to, they really love being involved with the Nice Guys. So they try to start it in their new communities, but it just hasn't been able to flourish in other areas with those members, I guess, without the base bulk of starting it and getting it going. But it'd be great to get it all spread out. But it's going to stay as the San Diego Nice Guys. That's what our charter is.
Yeah.
So it's not really. We're not going to expand it out because, like Brian explained, it's all 100% volunteers, 100%. And then, as Brian explained, also we underwrite a lot of stuff. We had our meeting and someone stands up. Okay, the band's going to cost us. Or actually our liquor bill is expected to be around $6,500. Who's going to pay for it? Break it down into $500 increments, and he pays $500. He pays $500. So everything is underwritten so that none of the money that we raise is used for any type of administrative fee whatsoever. 100% comes in, goes back out.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It's impressive. That's good. It's very impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah, 45 years now. That started in 1979. So it's gone through a lot. It's grown from those early days where they would drive turkeys around and stuff like that to now these big giant, the big Christmas events that we do. It's grown in scale, but it's still a manageable scale. We don't want Mark to end up bald like me after he gets done running these two. He's got too good of a head of hair.
And Andrew will remember him. Andrew will remember him. But there was a retired Marine Colonel Jack Kelly, who was involved in it, and he's the one that brought me in. But he was really instrumental in getting the Victory Fund started, and helping. Guy of the Year Gala, we have the Marine Band San Diego always performs for us. I mean, they've jumped through massive hoops at different times to either cancel different events or leave one event and come right to the hotel to perform for us, because all our members and everyone who ever attends the Nice Guy of the Year always comments about how great the Marine Band San Diego makes out of that event.
Yeah, and that's
so we have to plan it around your Marine Corps ball.
Yeah, that's right, because it's October.
Marine Corps ball is what, the third Saturday of October?
I believe so. Yeah, that's the typical time for it.
Yeah,
but and that's
so we have to plan our
Nice
Guy Gala around it.
Yeah, the band marches in, and then they do what they call a patriotic opener. They perform 3 or 4 tunes, something like that. And then I think they play do they play all the service songs at the end?
Yeah, they'll do
They
the
do,
mentally.
yeah. Yeah, and then they march out at the end as well. Yeah, so it's pretty cool deal. All right.
You want me to whack on Mark? It's that quintet, Mark. Yeah, all four
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, all four of them, Mark.
Yes.
We were joking on you the other day when you weren't here, so you couldn't fend for yourself. All right. Well, hey, let's go ahead.
Chief Officer Spanos uses that as a motivator for his people.
Yeah. I like it. Oh man. All right, let's go to veteran news with Mark. You got anything, Mark?
Well, what I do have is just a reminder about the Skill Bridge program for our military, our Marines that are getting out or retiring. They have this program called Skill Bridge. They can get into an internship, and a lot of times they'll release them to let them work that internship. They'll release them while they're still on active duty to work that internship. And so many times they'll get hired right out of their active duty time or retirement date. And they'll go to work for a great corporation because the corporation gets to bring them in, train them for free. And they see what, especially staff NCOs and officers can do. And boom, they just get a new hire that's ready to take on the world. And so the Skill Bridge program is definitely anybody that is active duty that's either just getting out or is going to retire, have them look into that.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Lost him. They got him. He's talking about Skill Bridge and they still got him.
Yeah, man.
I think they got a worm on his phone or something.
They got something there. They got you. You were talking about Skill Bridge and they still got you.
They still got me.
All right. All right.
The Democrats must want to cancel the program or something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. All right, we'll go over to military news.
So I was actually a recipient of the Skill Bridge program. Or a participant, not a recipient, but I participated in it. One of the big things is once you start the program, you have to be out of the service in 180 days. So it has to be your last 180 or up to your last 180 days. There are some 30-day and some 90-day Skill Bridge programs. But once you start the program, you have 180 days to be out of the service. But you can't sell back leave in conjunction. So if you're taking Skill Bridge and you have 3 weeks of leave, you cannot sell it back. You just lose it. So that's kind of your trade-off. So if you're going to take your terminal leave, you have to do it before Skill Bridge. However, a lot of commands out there are saying your terminal leave plus your retirement PTAD, your temporary additional duty, permissive temporary additional duty, that the DoD gives you to look for, new housing or move your stuff, whatever, all that. Some commands are saying your terminal leave and your retirement PTAD is a transition period, and Skill Bridge is a transition period. And you can't do both. You get one or the other because Skill Bridge is not a right. It's a privilege. So they cannot deny your terminal leave and PTAD request, but they can deny your Skill Bridge. So just those are big things. They got me into a big fight with my command when I left, and it was just to the point where, like, when I retired, my sergeant major was so pissed off of me, not one person from the command came to my retirement ceremony. Not one. Company commander, battalion first, or company first sergeant, battalion sergeant major, battalion ex-OCO, nobody came to my retirement ceremony. It was it was a big slap in the face.
Wow.
Because I did everything they told me to do twice. Yeah, and they still didn't work out in their favor, so they basically snub their nose at me. But so just be careful, plan for it. You have to plan it out and be intentional about it, and you might have to be your own best advocate when it comes to it getting approved or not. Okay, so in military news, I got a couple articles here. I'll probably only do one or two of them. Navy warship production is its worst in 25 years. And it's because we have such a decline in skilled tradesmen or tradeswomen. Let's see. Labor shortage is one of myriad challenges that have led to a backlog in ship production and maintenance at a time when the Navy faces expanding global threats. Combined with shifting defense priorities, last-minute design changes, and cost overrun, it has put the U.S. behind China in the number of ships at its disposal, which I spoke about, I think, a couple weeks ago, as far as the ship count. And the gap is widening. Navy shipyard is currently in a terrible state, quote unquote. Worst in the quarter century, says Eric Labs, a longtime naval analyst at the Congressional Budget Office. I feel alarmed, he said. I don't see a fast, easy way to get out of this problem. It's taken us a long time to get into it.
Wow.
So like they're having a hard time recruiting and keeping skilled tradespersons that can do welding or any of the other things, because when you get into that
electrician or whatever.
Yep. But a lot of these shipyards are actually paying for the workers' training. So if you find a job at a shipyard, they'll teach you or pay for you to learn how to weld, how to to run wiring and plumbing and all that kind of stuff. But one of the workers they interviewed basically said that shipbuilding used to have a bad rap, but it is not that. One guy was welding parts for garbage trucks, and he got recruited to be in the shipyard and said everything is way better than welding for garbage trucks. So it's out there. All you have to do is choose to do it. Get off your telephones, stop Snapchatting and Instagramming, and go do something with your hands.
There's something to be said about the trades. They should be going. That should be pushed a lot more than they are. But I know some schools, like I know you had mentioned that you have a good trade system in your schools, but they're not like that everywhere. There's a lot of places still pushing, just go to college. Oh, yeah. So we're missing out on a bunch of that. And if we're in the military, they'll pay for all that stuff, while you're active duty, at least go do it. And if you got the GI Bill, they'll pay for it to do that as well. You can do welding, you can do plumbing, any of that stuff.
Yep. Let's see. I found a couple articles within the last 2 or 3 days, basically about Biden administration announces additional security assistance for Ukraine. Big surprise. Ukraine war illustrates need for robust defense industry. EUCOM commander says. So we got a 4-star general over in EUCOM that is basically saying we need more money. You got to give us more money for this. And Biden administration saying we need additional assistance for Ukraine. So we're only going to be spending more money on top of the what is it? Almost $60 billion we already sent them. We're sending them more munitions, more rounds, more aid, more radar. I mean, it makes you wonder where all the stuff is coming. We're sending them millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of munitions and assets. And it's I don't think they're brand new. I think they're coming from our stores. I think it's depleting, and I don't know for sure, but I think it's depleting our resources. The last one I'll touch on is has anybody heard of what's it called? Blast over pressure exposure. Has anybody heard of that?
I have not.
It's becoming a thing. So in accordance to a memorandum, the Department of Waterfighting Brain Health Initiative strategy started in 1992. They are looking at blast overpressure exposure. So anything that creates more than 4 pounds per square inch of pressure blowback, because it's basically giving people mini concussions. So they're looking at all this stuff, and like they are finally getting aggressive about studying it. But where was it? I've lost it. It's a pretty large article. But basically everything causes more than 4 pounds per square inch of blast overpressure. So it's Oh crap! Where did it list it?
Are you talking like any type of explosions and like grenades or things like that, or even smaller?
Here it is. Weapon systems known to produce blast overpressure exposures exceeding 4 pounds per square inch, including breaching charges, shoulder fired weapons, 50 cal rifle and guns, and indirect fire. I mean, that's not counting. I mean, obviously artillery. Yeah, artillery is the big one, but like all these other things also created. Shoulder fired weapons. 50 cals. How many people? Yeah, how many people their heads are right next to 50 cal every time they pull the trigger? So it's
But
And
that there ever was.
say again.
I said just about every machine gunner that there ever was.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
depending on the results of this study, I mean, that could be significant. I see if the study comes out that it's bad, I see significant payouts for VA benefits.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
And I yield the rest of my time.
Very well.
Elected
Very
official
well.
talk.
You went over your 5 minutes. We're gonna have to dock you on the next one.
Dang it.
Let's see.
Happiness isn't
What's
belt-fed weapons anymor.
It's
What?
I guess happiness isn't belt-fed weapons anymore.
oh, it still is as long as they get paid on the backside from the VA.
Right.
For blast.
All right. Let's see. Nope. What do you have, Aaron? What is it? What news do you do? I
Man,
forgot.
Art, all the craziness going on in current news.
You got current news. That's what it is. Yeah. All right. Current news with Aaron.
Yeah, let me get my phone tapped and bring up the issues revolving around the Secret Service again. Apparently, they broke into a salon up in Massachusetts for one of Kamala Harris's campaigns, or prior to, around that time. So it starts out. So the Secret Service, of course, has hinted it was not involved in the break-in of a hair salon during Kamala Harris campaign event in Massachusetts last month. Allegations of Secret Service involvement arose after the salon's owner, Alicia Powers, alleged that the agents put duct tape over her security cameras and broke into her building by picking the lock.
What?
Yeah. So says it goes on, and they says an individual dressed like a Secret Service agent was seen on camera approaching a door with a roll of tape, observing the locked door, and then in camera before grabbing a nearby chair to put tape over the camera. So the camera caught him standing on the chair to put tape on him. Since then, the U.S. Secret Service has apologized and stated, "We hold these relationships in the highest regard, and our personnel would not enter or instruct our partners to enter a business without the owner's permission," stopping short of saying who was responsible. So,
Wow.
What is going on in the Secret Service?
What in the world why would they have to get into the salon?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, what's in the salon that they need to be in there for?
No clue. There's not a whole lot of specifics in here. I guess she told Business Insider that several people who were in and out for about an hour and a half, just using my bathroom, the alarms going off, causing my counter with no permission. And then when they were done using the bathroom for 2 hours, they left my building completely unlocked and did not take the tape off the camera.
Wow. Now, I got to be honest. I've had to go to the bathroom pretty bad before, but not so bad that I'm going to go pick a lock at a salon, put some tape up, and spend 2 hours in a bathroom. That's pretty impressive.
You can kind of put some intelligence in there and understand why they did put tape on the camera, because they didn't want people recording if important people had to go to the restroom. However, why? Why not just talk to the business owner if that's the case,
Yeah.
Say, hey, and we shut the cameras off. So, anyway, it's all shady. That's the world we live in now.
Yeah. Shady.
Well, I was going to mention Tampon Tim didn't even have a retirement ceremony. Dick, that makes you feel any better?
Yeah, screw that guy.
Wow.
But apparently he didn't have no ceremony or nothing. Anyway, since Mike is not here, I will move on to other news about a good news story.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, crap. It just.
Oh, he just lost his good news.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Large desert tortoise rescued in Arizona. So let's start off with, how long does it take a large desert tortoise to get to the other side of a southern Arizona highway? Still a mystery after a State Department public safety trooper recently helped rescue an escaped, I'll say this wrong, Sulcata tortoise that was attempting to cross Interstate 10 near, man, I'm horrible with pronouncing, Picacho?
Is that Huachuca?
I'm kind of leaning on Mark.
Pacucha?
They live in that area of the world or the U.S.
Isn't it Huachuca?
No, it's not Huachuca. Yeah, I don't. I recognize Huachuca if it was Huachuca, but
okay.
Anyway, a motorist contacted authorities on July 30th to report a tortoise trying to cross a busy highway that's halfway between Casa Grande and Tucson in Pinal County. The motorist and DPS Sergeant Stephen managed to get the tortoise off. Stephen Secrecki managed to get the tortoise off the roadway unharmed. Troopers saw the name Stitch labeled across the tortoise's shell and contacted an ostrich that was 3 miles away. So apparently, it lived in the ostrich ranch. 3 miles.
Yeah, he made it 3 miles, and then they grabbed him and sent him back.
Yep.
Man.
That's gonna suck for him. I know he was trying to get out of there.
Yeah. Man. They're just lucky that they didn't scare the tortoise and it urinated all of its liquid out and died. That's usually what happens with the desert tortoise.
29 palms.
Yeah. That shuts down entire tacks.
Yeah. Oh, the story. Oh, Mark.
Yep.
All right. Anything else, Aaron?
Good news.
That's it for good news?
About the elections and how it's going and anything else.
You want to talk about the elections? Is that what you said?
Tomorrow will be something else.
That's true.
Can't keep up with all this stuff that's changing.
Yeah. Daily. It's impressive.
Yeah.
You couldn't make this stuff up fast enough,
Nope.
All right. Military history.
Okay. Well, I didn't get to do anything for the last 2 weeks, or the last not 2 weeks, 2 sessions. So I kind of culminated it. And I like it when we just do the kind of run through, or I could talk about the taxes that we didn't really get to talk about. So what do you guys want to do? Do y'all like to hear the little blurbs? Or do y'all want to hear about the taxes?
I don't care.
I like the blurbs kind of thing.
All right. Do the blurbs.
So I like the blurbs, and I'll kind of go slow so y'all can comment on them if you want to. And some of the things on the blurbs are not military history, but I'll do one military history because a couple of them are baseball related for Brother Aaron. All right. In 1461, a gentleman named Alfonso Espina, the Bishop of Asma, urged for the Spanish Inquisition to begin.
Nice.
So we talked about that over the years. And I don't want to name all these because there's quite a few, but we have 10 whole minutes, so we have a lot of time. In 1497, John Cabot tells King Henry VII of his trip to Asia. That wasn't very eventful, so that's not really history. We're going to beat on down to this one. In 1695, the English and the Dutch fleet captured Dunkirk. We've all heard of Dunkirk. Thought that one was pretty good. In 1718, the Battle of Cape Passaro, the English fleet destroys the Spanish. I'm trying to find some that are eventful that we've heard about and might have forgotten. In 1757, English Fort William Henry in New York surrenders to the French and Indian troops. In 1790, Robert Gray's Columbia completes the first American around the world voyage. In 1790, Columbia returns to Boston after a 3-year journey and is the first ship to carry the U.S. flag around the world. That was kind of interesting. In 1792, mobs in Paris attacked the palace of Louis the 16th. Roman numerals, had to add that up there. Like this one is very interesting to me. It's not history to me, but in 1803, the first horses arrive in Hawaii. I don't think that's necessarily history. In 1821, Missouri is admitted as the 24th U.S. state. In 1831, Missouri. Yeah. In 1827, I'm sorry. In 1831, a former slave, Nat Turner, leads the uprising against slavery. In 1831, also, the first U.S. steam engine train ran from Albany to Schenectady, New York. I do not know some of these names. Schenectady, New York.
Is that the same as Schenectady?
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you, Mark. Schenectady. We appreciate the scholarly people on this podcast, Schenectady. All right. This one was good. I like this one. In 1842, the U.S.-Canada border defined the Webster-Ashburton Treaty. And I should have probably looked that up. I didn't know what that was. I didn't look any of these up. Some of them I pull and I do a little research on them. In 1846, Congress chartered the nation's attic with the Smithsonian Institution. So, let's go through some of these and move on down a little bit. In 1866, the transatlantic cable was laid, and President Buchanan spoke to Queen Victoria. So, not necessarily military, but I thought it's still relevant, and I think that it laid some groundwork for a lot of things. This one might appeal to Mark and I. In 1866, the world's first roller rink opened in Newport, Rhode Island. To you and I, who are 60 years old, and probably I don't know if anyone else here has actually ever roller skated. Okay.
Oh heck yeah!
Y'all roller skated? All right.
Oh yeah. Even the youngest one here used to roller skate.
Oh, you roller skated?
That used to be the thing to do, man. You go to a roller rink, you chasing skirts at the roller rink. That's what I remember.
Yep.
That's one of my quotes for later is about skirt length. That's good. And then, of course, 1876, the first phone call between Brantford and Paris, Canada. In 1885, $100,000 was raised in the U.S. for the pedestal for the Statue of Liberty. I didn't know she needed a pedestal, but I guess I didn't, how that took place. So, in 1893, the Chinese deported from. Never mind. We're going to scratch that one because I don't know what SF is under the Exclusion Act. So, and that would actually be pretty good. What if I knew what it was? So, in 1904, the Japanese fleet defeated the Russians off of Port Arthur. Let's see if we can get to a little more military history here, okay? We'll get into the 1900s a little bit here. In 1909, SOS was first used by an American ship, the Arapahoe, off of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. That's good. In 1914, German submarine U-15 sinks a British cruiser. This one is for all you men out there. I'm sure you're going to love this one. I skipped a couple of years. In 1910, Alva Fisher patented the electric washing machine. So thank you to her, Alva Fisher. I don't know if it made your life any better, being married or not married. In 1914, also, Jews were expelled from the Mitchnik, Poland.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1914, France declared war on Austria-Hungary. In 1918, the Battle of Amiens ends in World War I, and the Allies beat the Germans. Something a little bit more. I can go on with a lot of 1921, FDR was stricken with polio at his summer home on the Canadian island of Campobello. In 1929, Persia and Iraq signed a friendship treaty. Aaron, in 1934, Babe Ruth announces this is his final season as a full-time player.
Wow.
And in 1935, Nazi mass demonstration against did a mass demonstration against the German Jews. And I've got a couple more. How are we doing on time? Oh, God, yeah. I took up 7 minutes quick, didn't I? In 1942, 999 Jews are taken from Mechelen transit camp in Belgium. There's a couple more we'll talk about here. Let's see. In 1943, Hitler watches the lynching of Allied pilots. That's this week in history. In 1944, there was a U.S. air raid on Pallenberg. There's a lot of Auschwitz, a lot of Jews, a lot of issues during those in 1944, 1945. Of course, we talked about this a few weeks ago. And in 1945, the U.S. drops the second atomic bomb, Fat Man, on Japan and destroys part of Nagasaki. That was also this week. Let's finish up with the last page. A lot of test things going on back and forth. In 1975, U.S. vetoes proposed admission of North and South Vietnam to the UN. In 1981, Pete Rose hit his 3,631th career hit and breaks Stan Musial's National League hit record. And
as horrible
as
horrible as these umpires are these days, put people in the Hall of Fame now.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, there is a documentary about Pete Rose. Have you seen that?
Really? I have not.
I think it's on the HBO, whatever, Max or whatever it is now.
I've watched something on him, but not more recently.
Yeah, I've watched it recently, and it was them trying to get him reinstated or whatever so he could be part of the Hall of Fame. It was actually a really good documentary. I mean, he's a weird cat, but I mean, I think he deserves it.
Yeah,
he's pretty significant. In 1987, France and Great Britain send minesweepers to the Persian Gulf. And in 1990, the USS Magellan spacecraft lands on Venus. I'll finish up with these last ones. Also in 1990, Egypt and Morocco troops land in Saudi Arabia to prevent an Iraqi invasion. In 1991, the Shiite Muslims release U.S. hostage Edward Tracy. And in 1994, this is my favorite one. In 1994, the last British troops leave Hong Kong who have been there since September of 1841.
Wow.
That's about 150 some odd years.
That's wild.
So, I'll send you guys the link to the site, or I can just keep trying to read them. But this was two sessions.
All right. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, lots of history for sure. All right, Brian. We do at the end here. We go round robin again, but this time we do oh man, my mind just went blank. What am I thinking of?
Words of
on, guys.
wisdom.
That's what it is. I can't even say it. That's how bad I am at it. Words of wisdom. So everyone goes and they talk about something that, you know, is wise in nature. Sometimes not so much, but most of the time wise in nature. And you know Mark pretty well, you know. So he usually comes up with some humdingers at the end. So he usually goes last. So I'm going to leave it up to you, Brian. You can either go after him or you can go before him, but we'll go to the other guys first, so you can kind of hear what everybody has to say and give you a little bit of time to think. And then and when we get to that point, we'll ask you what you want to do. All right.
Got it.
All right. Sounds good. Let's go with Vic. Vic, words of wisdom.
Well, given our guest this week and the awesome work that they do, God will not have his work made manifest by cowards.
Ooh. Dang. That one is good. Mark, you might have a rough go this week. Yeah. All right. Aaron.
All right. It doesn't matter what they say about you as long as they spell your name right.
That's good. I like it. All right, Krista, what do you got?
Well, I picked this one out for Mark because Mark has said some sometimes that are quite questionable and make our eyebrows really go, what? Did he really say that? I mean, and so I did this as an ode to him for his guest. A good speech should be like a woman's skirt, long enough to cover the subject and short enough to create interest. Winston Churchill.
All right. I like that one.
That is a good one. That is a good one. Yeah. All right, Brian, your choice. Do you want to gamble?
Words of wisdom. My words of wisdom are spend less than you make, save the difference, and invest in a diversified, low-cost index funds.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Save often and early. Early is the most important, really. Yep.
Yeah. Wise words. I like it. All right, Mark.
Okay, well, I gotta go back to Krista's history because she glossed over an important fact about. Could you go over about the washing machines?
Oh no.
It was somewhere in the last week, 1910, Alva Fisher patents electric washing machine.
But you said that was good for the men, didn't you? Wasn't it better for the women because of the ringer?
It depends.
Washing the clothes.
Sometimes when it's ringing and it starts bouncing, I scream. So it depends. I don't know who it's good for.
All right.
Oh my God. That's good.
Okay, I guess we got this election coming up, so I'm just going to say, I'm going to repeat what someone else said. You can vote your way into communism, socialism, but we're going to have to fight our way out. So
that's true.
Vote wisely.
Vote early and often.
Yeah.
Wait, that's the Democrats. That's the Democrats method.
Democrats, yeah.
Vote early and often. That was good. All right, Brian, one last time. Thanks for coming on. And again, this is the same within 2-week period. You've been on twice. This is great. But you did your veteran story, which was fantastic. Thanks for doing that. And then also coming on talking about the nice guys. So much appreciated. To everybody else, thank y'all. I appreciate you coming on. You always make it fun. And then to all the listeners out there, if you're struggling, you need help, don't forget the VA does have some great resources. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can text 838-255, or you can go to veteranscrisisline.net and click on the chat icon. Any of those options are going to put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life loss is one too many. I care about you. Brian cares about you. The crew cares about you. And all the veteran community care about you. And if you're one of those veterans out there that's not struggling and you're doing just fine, be sure to reach out to your buddies that you serve with. Ask them how they're doing. And if they need help, give them a helping hand. With that, Thanks again one last time to all the listeners. Stay motivated. Change your socks.